This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 811, 20 Years of Good Times. Enjoy. There's something else that was also in this letter, and this got everybody talking. We got a glimpse at a concept, underscoring concept, of a reworked player model. Oh boy, you and I knew they were going to do something like this. It only made sense to, right? We knew something like this had to be on the way at some point.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people about this. I talked to people who play every day. I talked to people who are inactive. I talked to people who have quit. They said that the people who have quit or inactive said that, yeah, this looks like a modern progression for RuneScape. The thing that I had to underscore to everybody who was talking about it, especially people who were concerned about it performance-wise and whatnot, is that what we're seeing here is, of course, going to be rendered by your graphics card. And what you see in these pictures are effectively clay sculpts, meaning that this isn't what it's going to look like in game. This is just an example of the kind of detail that they're aiming towards on this. And, looking at this, it took a few days for me because RuneScape has always been that game that's been kind of low fidelity, right, in terms of the visual models of the players, at least. And there's so many models in game that are so high detail, but the player model has always been the one that's low fidelity. And it's like, okay, if you're going to do this, what other options are going to be available with this? Are you going to be able to change the hairstyles? Are we going to have new hair in game? Like, are you just going to put the hair that we have right now on top of this, or is there going to be an entirely new hair system as well? Are you going to be able to change the eye color? Are you going to be able to change the lip color, the eyebrow color? You get where I'm going with this, right?
Give my player avatar chickenpox.
But think about it this way. So I immediately loved it, right? And I don't know why I didn't. For some reason, I didn't understand the pushback, because there's some pushback. I'm like, why? And even at this.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to understand as well, because I didn't feel okay about it. And then it wasn't until I told myself 3 or 4 times that this is a concept. It's a concept, not what it's actually going to look like in game.
Right, and I was, like I said, I was for this because I'm for the higher amount of detail. Because look, if people want an end to some of the monetization methods that are in game, and they really want this costume only, then you have to move in this direction to have that. Because what I could foresee is they're going to let everybody redo your character, or adapt your character. But then it might be like some other games where it's like, okay, but if you want to redo it, you purchase a ticket, redo ticket,
a costume reskin token. Say you might get 2 of them for the price of 1 bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I don't have a problem with that. You cannot have it both ways. You can't, not in this case. And what's the harm in making the game look good? If you want your simple stuff, there is an alternative for you. There is. But this is 20 years old. I want it to look hot at,
you want to look hot?
40 years old. Yeah, I want to look hot.
Yeah, and
So, I don't know. I'll probably stir the pot for the week, but
yeah, and that's fine. And he says over the next year we'll start to deliver an evolving series of improvements to how the World Guardian is represented in game. This is a very complex project with many steps, and will be involving you regularly throughout development as we work to get the look of the avatar just right. And you can expect to hear more early next year.
Yeah, I was going to say, this will be years in the making.
Yeah.
For sure. I have no doubt whatsoever. Because I'm sure it is a very big undertaking. but I think it's an undertaking that they would probably be willing to do because it could be a good thing in the end for them.
And it all makes sense now.
It could make good business sense then.
It all makes sense
everything.
now. Do you remember on the Mod Warden episode, I asked him, what do you see RuneScape as? He sees it as a digital community centered around the player avatar. And it was that comment when I was looking through our clip show stuff, combined with this concept art, that it clicked for me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we even had, and I want to say, like, we have suspected that for a long time. Just because looking at other games, looking at some of the places specifically Mod Warden had been.
Overwatch?
We had a sneaking suspicion that this might come into play at some point. And like I said, I support it. I don't want to get into a quagmire of just, delay. That being said, yeah, I would be surprised if it comes in under 2 years even. But I am for it.
Yay!
Yeah, and I think we also need to underscore that these are effectively clay sculpts. And, you underscore that this is not how it's going to look in the game, so to speak. It's going to, feel as though it's part of the game. And I think one thing that's really unnerving to this, when you look at this, is these things don't have hair yet.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by that, really. Like, I wasn't bothered by those pictures that much, just because, like you said, they're concepts. But, like, if you're centering the game, like, if this is going to be such a big deal, you are not going to mess it up. This is not going to be a new quest cape situation, guys. Or a new skill cape situation. It won't be. I can promise.
I think
you that.
If you make it look flashy enough, you'll have everybody on board.
Well, yeah, and we've seen examples of that, right? Like, even just giving us a good hard concept art of what the complicated quest capes would, or I keep saying quest capes, the complicated comp capes would have been, was the thing that changed a lot of people's minds. They're like, oh, okay, well, not changed their minds, but made them okay.
And when you see these characters adorned with what you're going to be wearing on them and how they're going to look in game, that'll sell people right away.
Yeah.
Right, because if the game doesn't appeal to you when you first look at it, you ain't gonna stay around to play it, to enjoy it.
Yeah,
true.
And I think, like we said, anybody who has a doubt, just wait and see what this looks like with all of the adornments. But this is the path to go forward, because you can't have a game with an avatar from 2008. It's that simple. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.